You've probably heard the saying, a good invoice gets a good payment. Well, how can you tell if you have a good invoice? The answer to that is simple. Complete the three-way match. This very basic accounts payable invoice verification routine can save your organization tons of money. How? By ensuring you pay what you have agreed to pay for the goods both ordered and received at the right time, not too early, not too late. What's not to like about that? We're going to review some of the true power of the three-way match here, the problems and expenses the three-way match helps you avoid. And there are more than you might imagine. Make sure you stick around until the end when we share one problem many companies don't even realize exists. And this is to the detriment of their bottom line. The three-way match helps organizations and companies 1. Identify fraudulent invoices so they can make sure they are never paid. No one likes to be tricked into paying for something they didn't order. The beauty of the three-way match is it helps quickly identify those scammy invoices that are attempting to steal from your company. Way number 2. It helps you identify and weed out duplicate invoices, assuming the duplicate invoice number checking routine didn't work, which it often doesn't. As those who work in accounts payable are painfully aware, duplicate invoices has become a huge problem for virtually every company and organization. My informal polling at a number of events leads me to believe that the number of duplicate invoices is somewhere between 20 and 25% of all invoices sent. And, as you are probably aware, most duplicate payments, like 99% of them, are not returned. A credit memo may be issued, but the emphasis is on the word may, and it may or may not make its way to the customer. I'm going to stop ranting and raving about this now, but suffice it to say that duplicate invoices are real and a costly issue. Way number 3. Avoid paying the wrong price, which is almost always higher than you agreed to. The purchase order, if filled out correctly and completely, should provide the clarity around this issue to help the staff doing the three-way match know what price was expected. This is just one reason so many folks like the three-way match. Way number 4. Avoid paying for an entire order when only a partial order was received. This is why it is so important that the receiving staff actually check that what was delivered matches what is on the packing slip that was in the order, also known as the receiving documents. For if they just mark the documents received without checking, the organization will have no way of knowing if the company or organization was shortchanged. This is one reason some organizations are adamant about not taking partial shipments. It makes the accounting and payment function difficult and can lead to errors, costly errors. Better to issue 2 separate purchase orders. Way number 5. Avoid paying extra fees that are supposed to be paid for by the seller. This can include shipping or freight, special customization fees. Again, the purchase order will provide you some clarity on this issue. Now, before we get to the last 2 areas where the three-way match really shows its worth, I'd like to ask you to hit the subscribe button. For the more subscribers we have, the more resources we can devote to creating content just like this. Way number 6. Know when early payment discounts are available and adjust processing and payment timing to take advantage of these very lucrative discounts. The purchase order should indicate if an early payment discount is available. If the purchase order doesn't, then the company is relying on the seller to make a note of that on the invoice. And that may or may not happen. If it's not on the purchase order, and the seller neglects to include it on the invoice, there's a good chance the discount will be lost forever. Unless you have a really alert accounts payable person who, when processing the invoice, remembers that the seller involved offers early payment discounts. But really, it's not fair to expect the accounts payable person to remember when the purchasing staff neglected to include this very basic but important piece of information on the purchase order. Way number 7 that the three-way match helps. take advantage of special deals, especially when special payment terms were arranged. Pay at the right time. 4. If special payment terms were arranged, as they often are at year end, as long as they are reflected on the purchase order, you will be able to avoid paying earlier than was arranged. Think this isn't a real problem? Listen to this very short clip from a longer tip we did on special deals that are frequently lost. And my real life proof, if you will. One large, well-respected pharmaceutical company stumbled across this issue. When they went back and researched their activity, they discovered they had lost 100% of these special deals that had been negotiated with a number of different suppliers. It's important that you understand this wasn't only a one-supplier issue, it was across the industry. They went back and they looked for several years, and they discovered each December they took advantage of a number of different special payment terms offered by different suppliers, and none had been reflected on their purchase order, and consequently none were on the invoice. They end up paying for all this extra inventory using their standard payment terms, losing all those special deals negotiated by their purchasing staff. Is this problem unique to this one firm or to the pharmaceutical industry only? Sadly not. You can watch the rest of this talk using the link that has appeared on your YouTube screen and is in the description.